Welcome back, it's Nine, and today I have an absolutely massive video for you guys. We're going to be talking about Naughty Dog's next project and some details that may have revealed exactly what theme it could at least be based on some concept art. We're going to be talking about Sumo Digital and how they are hiring for 2 new projects. And lastly, we'll be talking about Death Stranding and its sales. Now, before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. Now, let's get right into it, and this comes from PSU.com, and this is titled Naughty Dog Concept Artist Posts Fantasy-Themed Concept Art from what may be Naughty Dog's next game. Of course, I will have all the artwork on screen, and links will be in the description. Hyung Nam, a senior concept artist at Naughty Dog, has posted 3 new pieces of concept art with a fantasy theme. The new art from Nam's ArtStation profile shows a woman with a sword sitting on the head of a dragon she supposedly slew, another woman with bright green eyes, and a third woman in a shaman-like garb, complete with a ram's skull on her head and a staff with a skull at the top. Accompanying the art is a caption that reads, "Inspire from new game." You know what I'm talking about, ... with a winky face at the end. All 3 pieces are called The Woman of North, and Nam certainly seems to be hinting to the idea that Naughty Dog are at least conceptualizing a fantasy game at the studio. So it seems like their next game could be a more grounded fantasy setting, and this is very different from anything they've ever worked on. They've worked on, Uncharted, post-apocalyptic stuff like The Last of Us, Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter, but this is vastly different, and this has me so excited for what Naughty Dog could create, because I, for one, love fantasy-themed games, hence why I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy. Now, granted, this looks more like a gritty, realistic look at a fantasy-themed game, which makes it even more exciting for me. Honestly, I'm super excited about this. I can't even... If this is really the theme, we're not even talking about the actual characters. If this is a theme that they're going for, I am more excited about the next Naughty Dog game than any game they've ever worked on. Because this is actually what I really wanted to see them do, was a fantasy-themed game. Now, I know a lot of other people might have wanted something different, but for me, this is it. For me, this is what's got me more excited than ever for the future of Naughty Dog and what they could be putting out. Now, granted, they could be working on something totally different, but based on, the hints here, I can only take that this is going to be a fantasy-themed game. And like I said, this is crazy to me. I can't wait to see what this could possibly be. With their polish, their animation, everything that they do so well would fit just phenomenally in a fantasy-themed game. I can't wait. On to our next topic, and this is from PSU as well, and it's titled Sumo Digital Hiring for 2 New Projects, including next game, an established AAA open world action franchise. So if you guys aren't familiar, Sumo Digital, they made Little Big Planet. They've also made Crackdown, so there's 2 sides of the spectrum here. Very vastly different games. So the Sheffield-based Sumo Digital is hiring for 2 new projects, one of which is the next entry in an established AAA open-world action franchise. This is pretty interesting, as the studio obviously has experience working with established series in the past, including Little Big Planet and Crackdown, as I said. One of the job openings is for a senior game designer and mentions a well-established IP, with applicants helping to grow the universe of a multi-title franchise. Furthermore, the role calls for someone to enhance the gameplay and narrative of an existing IP. Meanwhile, a sound designer job listing mentions a huge but unannounced AAA console title with a clear vision of how to make our title truly stand out from the competition. The second project mentions an unannounced third-person multiplayer action title and calls for a game designer specializing in the character combat and traversal mechanics to play a pivotal role in developing the core experience of a AAA game from the ground up. Sumo Digital is looking for an individual that possesses a passionate love of gaming and a strong understanding of modern gaming trends, particularly in the PvP shooter genre. So it sounds like it's kind of obvious they might just be working on Crackdown, but obviously this is a guess, or something in that realm. And could they also be working on a Little Big Planet game? It seems like these might be the two universes they're revisiting. Obviously, this is not that much information for us to go off of, but one of them does mention third-person shooter, well-established IP, and what have they worked on, right? We know what they've worked on. So I think they're probably going back to the drawing board for Crackdown, and maybe they are also working on a Little Big Planet game. I don't know. I could be wrong about that as well, but I'm curious to see what you guys will make of this. Now, on to our last topic, and this comes from GamingBolt.com, titled Death Stranding sales were apparently record-breaking for Sony. And we never heard anything about Death Stranding sales. But according to this LinkedIn profile for a former PlayStation Worldwide Studios head, indicates that it performed well. Discovered by Tumor222 on Twitter, former studio head and visual arts senior director Michael Mumbauer had recently updated his LinkedIn profile while discussing the use of different technologies for performance capture in animation. Mumbauer noted several titles that had achieved record-breaking sales and international acclaim for Sony. Death Stranding was mentioned along with God of War, The Last of Us, and Marvel's Spider-Man. So other titles that were just mentioned have sold upwards of 10 million copies, right? And with Death Stranding, we haven't really heard much other than Kojima stating in May 2020 that the game was profitable, but also didn't indicate that it had sold millions of copies. And I feel like if that was the case, they probably would have said it. So I don't know how confident I am in this report. I think that it's questionable. But Death Stranding was one of those games. It was a divisive game, right? Like, there were people who absolutely loved it, said this is the best game ever made. There were people who said, wow, this game is awful. And there were few in between, but usually it was one side of the spectrum or the other. As for myself, I played the game for, I think, what was 15 hours or so, and it just wasn't for me personally. The story was the only thing that kept me intrigued. Gameplay was just not fun, I guess. And for me, fun is a big deal. I want to have fun while I'm playing a game. But I know that, the games are subjective, and that's the nature of them. So I totally understand those who really enjoyed it and those who didn't enjoy it, because I was on the side of things that I didn't enjoy it. But I hope that it did sell well, because I think Kojima has a lot of potential. He has a lot of creativity. He's capable of creating incredible projects, and I'd love him to be able to continue to do that. Not that I think that, Death Stranding would stop him from doing that, but obviously the money coming in from Death Stranding would help him continue his journey as a developer. Now, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm very curious what you guys are going to make of this new Naughty Dog concept art. Are you as excited as I am for this? What do you think this could mean? What games do you think Sumo Digital are working on? And lastly, do you think Death Stranding broke record numbers for sales? And do you think it's even close into the millions and millions of copies? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to get notified about all my upcoming videos, and hit the like button. It helps the channel a ton. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Links will be in the description. And share this video with a friend. I will talk to you all on the next one. Take care.